Good morning, friends, family support team. How are you? Hope everything is going well for you. Happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Eve. I don't know when you'll read this, but excited to be with family over the next few days. We are driving to Ohio. I don't know what your plans are for Thanksgiving, but hopefully you guys have some great ones lined up. I know a lot of my friends here in the Silver Spring area are staying put, which sounds nice, but we also haven't seen my parents and my brother in a while, so we're really excited to head back to Lancaster and see family. So, um, realized the last update was in August, so let me bring you up to speed on everything that's going on because it's been a lot. Youth group. We're averaging anywhere. Again, we're still meeting on Friday nights. Every week, Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. I was able to work with one of our boys in the youth group. His parents attend a church here in Silver Spring called the Silver Spring Christian Reformed Church, about 7 or 8 minutes from our house. They have a youth space that they really are not using right now. They've got a handful of kids that are youth group age, but they don't have a youth pastor or a student ministry director on staff. So the room of couches and playing IKEA chairs and foosball and TV are currently going unused. So we were able to connect with them to use the space, which has been an incredible blessing, especially in this season since Restore still is spaceless, physical spaceless. Um, and it's been a great blessing, like I said, to be able to use that space. We're averaging 8 to 13 kids on any given Friday night. Uh, which is great for that space. But if we grow any more, we'll probably be too cramped, which is a great problem to have. We've started small groups. That's another thing that I think is really update worthy. Andrea has been meeting with the ladies, and she's had typically 3 or 4 ladies meeting with her every, when I say ladies, girls meeting with her on Monday nights at Panera downtown Silver Spring. Um, and then I've been meeting with the dudes on Wednesday nights up in Gaithersburg because most of our boys live up county. So it's been a really missional thing for me to be able to go and drive up to them instead of always making them come down here on Friday nights for youth group. So it's been really good to be able to drive up to Gaithersburg, kind of meet with them on their turf. We meet at a Panera as well, which is interesting watching 13-year-old boys make trip after trip after trip to the soda machine. It's kind of their night of freedom. It's funny to watch them like I'm here without my parents. This is incredible, and that means just refilling their soda over and over and over again. Pop free Michiganders. Um, so yeah, small groups have been great. We've been working through the book. Actually, it's right here. God Has a Name. I don't know if it's backwards or what, by John Mark Comer. It's been fantastic talking about God's name, Yahweh, and why that's so important. What does that mean? And what does that teach us about God? So that's been really, really great to read through that with Andrea, with the girls, me with the guys, and really process with them. What does it mean? What is the significance behind the name Yahweh, and why is that so important? So, been super, super good, and it's been awesome. And our vision for small groups moving forward is to switch up locations, switch up days, times, um, makeups, whether it's by age and do co-ed or just do one big co-ed or just offer 2 co-ed small groups. We really want to be very intentional about not letting it be too cliquish and like, cool group versus not cool group or always guys versus girls or anything like that. So we just really want to be intentional about continuing to stir it, continuing to have different voices together, and letting the Spirit speak through these different voices of these teenagers. So it's been great so far, and we've really, really enjoyed doing it. It's been a lot for us. Every week, Monday, Andrea's out, so I'm kids to bed. And then Wednesday nights, I'm out. Andrea's putting the kids to bed. And those of you that don't know, Andrea was in a car wreck about 2 months ago and has had a broken hand for the last 2 months. So she's getting better. She's getting there, but it's been a lot. So, youth group, I think that's most of it. We've been using the Grow curriculum. I think I probably updated you guys on that in August. Um, and the Grow curriculum has been great. It's been super helpful and has taken a lot of weight off my shoulders in terms of preparing the lesson and the curriculum and finding the scriptures. But then it's also very moldable and customizable, which allows me to go in and add things, take away things, add other scripture verses, add videos, pictures, etc. It also provides games, images for marketing, etc. So the Grow curriculum has been great. We've been super happy with it, and it's helped a lot. And I think the students have been very engaged with it. So definitely been very pleased um, to see how that has worked for us. It's been a great fit. Finally, this past weekend, in terms of youth group, we had our first ever retreat. As someone that is a product of the 90s youth group culture, then obviously the 2000s, um, youth group retreats were the highlight of everything for us. Both my friends in school and with the Salvation Army and with other things growing up. The when we were at Faith Memorial, my senior year retreats were everything, and that was something where it was a highlight. It was a bonding experience, and Andrea has shared and had many of those same experiences with her growing up, and so we knew we wanted to do retreats. For camaraderie, for a special time away for the students. We had 5 boys register, no ladies, which was, I know, is disappointing to Andrea. She was staring down the barrel of a boys' weekend, and it worked out okay. I think she enjoyed herself, but and I think conversely, on the flip side, I think the boys really enjoyed hanging out with her. I think the boys now see her as a co-leader, which is really important to me and to her. But I think obviously they see me as the youth pastor, and they see me as like, hey, if I have any issues, I can come to Ian, or I can talk to Ian about anything. I want them to see her in the exact same way. So I think this retreat was really, really good for that, and that they see her as an equal to me, which is really, really important. We went up to Camp Joyelle up in Greencastle, Pennsylvania, based on a referral from Mr. Paul Ritchie. Thank you for that. And we had a blast. We had open gym time. We played foosball, human foosball, not just regular foosball, human foosball. We archeried, archery. I don't know. Whatever the past tense of archery is, we did that. We go-karted, we zip-lined. That was a favorite. But we also talked a lot, and we had big sessions and then breakout sessions with just our group, so we were able to process what was said. But we talked a lot about how we're always going to face giants in our lives. We're always going to be tested. We're going to have trials. Things are going to happen in our lives that we're not too crazy about. And God is always going to be there with us, even when it doesn't feel like it. And He's going to prepare us, and He's going to give us exactly what we need to come through that. So it was a great weekend. And we even had one student tell us, approach us and say, hey, I decided to follow Jesus this weekend, which, if nothing else happened, you know, that makes it worth it. So we had a great time at the camp. Camp Joyelle was great. Facilities were awesome. Students had a blast. And obviously, when anytime one of your students comes to you and says, hey, I've decided to follow Jesus, it's amazing to see God work through continued faithfulness on our end. So even when it feels like you're making no headway, something like this happens, and then you're able to see, like, lives are being changed. So praise God for that. So that's going on with youth group. Amazing momentum. Super happy with how things are going in terms of discipleship, small groups. Our meetings on Fridays, I feel like we're finally hitting our stride in terms of, okay, we're kind of moving through the pandemic. We've adjusted. We're wearing masks. Most of our kids are vaccinated. So it's been really, really good to kind of get to a comfort level and really start to build camaraderie in person with these students. So that's been fantastic. Want to bring you guys up to speed on some Restore stuff, because there's been a lot of moving and shaking on the big church side of things too. The first big piece of news I want to let you guys know is that Aaron and Carrie Thomas, the two lead pastors, or two pastors that planted Restore about 10 years ago at their dining room table, they've decided to step down in leadership. They had been praying about this for a long time. Well, maybe not a long time, but they went on vacation this past summer. The short story is they went on vacation, and they took a 2-week vacation, which they never do, because I was talking to somebody else about this. But just by the time you feel like you're finally getting to unrest from unpacking and getting set up, it's time to pack back up and go back home if you only take a week. But they took a 2-week vacation, and they really felt genuinely by that, like, day 7, 8, when they were hitting that second week, that God was telling him something. Aaron felt that God was telling him something, and shared it with Carrie on the beach, and a lot of emotions for them. But they ultimately feel like God was calling them to step down in leadership at Restore. And so they sensed that this summer, and they sensed that God was telling them it's time to pass the baton on to new leadership. And that's kind of where we come in. About a month or so before Aaron and Carrie had shared their news with us, the entire leading community shared a meal with us. They came, we went out to dinner together. The leading community or leadership council, which is the five other or I guess Aaron and Carrie, and then the three other pastors at Restore, went out to dinner with us, and they invited us to be a part of this leading team. They invited us to be pastors of Restore, and we really were kind of unsure and uncertain about what that meant. We had a lot of questions, and staff members stepping into a leadership role where I'm voting on things, and we just had a lot of questions about what that might mean. And then once we got Aaron and Carrie's news about them stepping away, we knew that this community needed leaders to opt in. The Restore community needed leaders to opt in and provide vision and guidance into Restore's next season. So on Saturday, December 11th, here in a couple of weeks, Andrea and I will be ordained as pastors at Restore Church. We have an Evite floating around here somewhere, and if you're interested in attending, we'd love to have you. I will send the Evite in the body of the email that you'll get this in. We'd love to have you sharing this special night for us. For us, obviously, ordination is special, but it also just really means a setting apart, that we are set apart and we are ordained to do ministry here at Restore Church with these people. And we're so excited, and we'd love for you to share that with us. So while I'll still be running the student ministry, obviously I want to talk to you a little bit about what this means for my role specifically. I'll still be running the student ministry because that's where my heart is. But my new title will actually be Community Care and Student Ministry Pastor. In this pastoral role, I'll step outside of just student ministry and look really to shepherd and care for the rest of the congregation at Restore and for the Silver Spring and Montgomery Montgomery County population as a whole. It shouldn't matter if these are churched people, non-churched people. Everybody is an image bearer. And so my role, I will be looking for other people, image bearers, who have physical, social, emotional, and or spiritual hurt, and care for them. Introduce them to Jesus and to a community that will love them and welcome them to the table no matter what. That will be my role as as CCASMP. It just rolls right off the tongue. The Community Care and Student Ministry Pastor. I'm super excited. I believe this fits with my giftings and my callings. I really believe that God has brought Restore and brought us to a place where this is really a great fit. And I'm going to be kind of set free to rally the Restore community and to look for those who are hurting and to care for them and help meet their needs and really be an usher of God's kingdom here in Montgomery County. So I'm so excited, and we believe God has big things ahead. And the reason that I'm in this position and the reason I'm able to work with the students and step into this pastoral role is because of you guys, because God has blessed us with your support, both through prayer and through finances. So we are so beyond grateful for you and for what you've done to help get our ministry to this point and get Restore to this point, so that Restore is at a place where it can hand off leadership to people who are committed and love Restore, like us. And we believe that we're going to be instrumental in what God has to do here, both with Restore and with Montgomery County. So we can't thank you enough for your continued support. Please continue to pray for us. If you support us financially and are curious about what these new roles mean, obviously Andrea is not on paid staff. She would be serving as in this pastoral role voluntarily. But obviously, as a paid staff member, I obviously want to be transparent with you guys. So if you guys have questions about what these new roles mean financially for us, please feel free to reach out with questions, concerns. I'm happy to explain it to each of you. Would be happy to connect offline and give you the deets. But it's a little nuanced, so I want to be able to explain it right and carefully and to each of you as needed. So happy to answer any of those questions you may have. I'm almost at 15 minutes, so if you've made it this far, you win the prize. Don't know what the prize is, but you win it. thank you for sticking with us, for supporting us, for loving us, for loving our family. Family wise, we're doing great. Bennett's going to be 3 here in a few weeks. Quinn turned 1 about a month ago. I think she took 12 steps yesterday, so she's getting in that mobile walking mode. She's doing great. Like I said, Bennett's still in preschool, but we're taking a break obviously this week for to head to Ohio to be with my family for Thanksgiving. Um, Andrea's doing great with her job. Her hand is getting back to normal. She's getting more functionality from the car wreck she was in. I'm in school still, seminary, still plugging away at that. I'm taking an Old Testament class, and I'm also taking a church and Christian leadership class, which has a lot to do with one of the books was literally titled "Leading the Congregation Through Change," and I was like, wow, that is so ironic and appropriate, and God is funny. So. Um, Thank you again for everything. I can't tell you how grateful we are to have you in our corner and to be supporting us. Those of you who live in Ohio or live in Lancaster or Columbus, we're coming your way this weekend. Would love to see you guys. For those of you that are a little bit more spread out, please reach out. Would love to connect with you, talk with you, and update you on how we're feeling about all this, how we're processing it, and this new stage of leadership for us. So excited to share this. I'm at 16 minutes. I gotta go. Hopefully the house is not on fire. The kids are around here watching something, but they're within earshot. So don't call like Child Protective Services on me. They're right out there. So grace and peace to each of you. Love each of you, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.